Let's go! Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football, the Sooners Saturday preview show, kickoff show. We're gonna figure out what to call it. But hey, thanks a lot everybody for showing up into this this new stream for us. We're gonna do a preview show. Gonna go over a lot of the stuff from Oklahoma. Also, obviously, gonna go over some of the national games of record, things that got a couple of segments that I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about. We will give you our number one, our Heisman hopefuls, who we think is at the top of the list right now, going into week 3, starting today. Also, gonna go through a few things that I'm sick and tired of hearing from around the college football world, narratives that are stupid, stuff like that. We'll definitely be getting into talking a little bit about Tebow and his little accusations he's throwing around out there from 2 years ago, and how obviously it's only, you know, Oklahoma fans that are getting everything started. Yeah, so we're definitely be doing that. Let's see. Welcome everybody into the show. Hank, Adela, Stephen G, of course, and Seth. Welcome back to the show, my friend. Glad everybody showed up. Like I said, we're going to have a couple of guests, I believe, throughout this session here. We're expected to have a few guys, but right now I'm going to bring on Coach I from Fanatic Sports Network. He's actually on location in Athens, Georgia for the South Carolina Georgia game. Coach I, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me in this morning, man. I'm up early, man, trying to get ready for game day, man.
After a late night last night, he's up early today.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, we're glad that you got up with us. And well, hey, tell us how to go last night. Obviously, I watched the show. I thought it was great. You guys enjoyed all that, though, huh?
Oh yeah, man. First live on location, man, in Athens at Creature Comforts Brewing Company. They're the official craft beer of UGA Athletics. Listen, man, it was good, man. We had a lot of good crowd out there. Shout out to the people that showed up for us. Then the UGA Red Coat Band Alumni Association was out there. Harry Dog, you know. We had one of the first 5 guys. We call them first 5 because there was 5 African Americans were the first 5 to get scholarships at the University of Georgia to play football. So one of those guys was actually on the show towards the end. So, man, and then we had one of the former South Carolina wide receivers from my time in college that came on and got on the show, man. You know, so it was dope, man, being there live in person, man, with everybody, you know, able to just interact with everybody, you know, side by side. It was so fun, man. So we're going to try to do it again for homecoming, man. But it was definitely dope, man. So being in person.
Yeah, no doubt, right? You know, no doubt. I'm getting excited about next week just thinking about it. You know, I saw you out there. I'm going to be out in Cincinnati next week checking them out. And it sounds like it's going to be a better game than what anybody was expecting with that defensive front at Cincinnati. They do have a dual threat quarterback. They obviously have to get through Tulsa this week, and it hasn't been exactly an easy week for Oklahoma. You know, they get through a tough SMU team. I think a team that's a lot better than a lot of people gave them credit for, Coach. You know, they came into it. They've got a tough offense and a head coach that's been there in the thick of it in the SEC as an offensive coordinator, been in national championships, things like that. This is a guy that's coaching them up, and Oklahoma shut them down. Now the offense sputtered a bit. It looked like they continued to stay a little vanilla, and I think Jeff Lebby talked about that as well. But it got him kind of you know, raked over the coals a little bit. I know you probably saw a little bit of that. Of course, the art being on the sideline didn't help anything. But what were your thoughts about that after what you saw there?
Well, I thought that going into the game, that SMU was better than people knew they were. Again, like, you know, on the pick'ems, I took SMU in the spread. I thought Oklahoma would win. But I thought SMU was better, than, like I said, people thought they were. I thought, and you guys obviously covered the spread. The more impressive part was holding them to 10 points. So I'm not saying they're like, an offensive juggernaut like Ohio State or something, but I did think they would score more than 10 points. So I think that's a positive for y'all. And as far as Jeff Lebby, man, yeah, I saw the whole Art Brow stuff, man. I'm be honest with you, man. Like, I can see it from both sides. It's hard, man. You talking about the granddad of his kid, his kids, and I don't know. I get what I know it's history and things of that nature, so you have to take that into consideration.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't know if it should have been a national story. I feel like it was a national story. Like, I'm like, it's not. Right. That's something that you could have just handled in house. Per se, I think talking heads in the media sometimes make it bigger than it had to be.
Right. Well, you had an insider, quote unquote, that wanted to make sure and he's a stir up the pot guy all the time.
That's what That's what I'm talking about. Like, that could have just stayed in house in the Oklahoma Nation type deal. They didn't have to put that out for the national media to have fun with.
Yeah, and I think that the bad thing about it to me is Jeff Lebby is a Sooner. He played at Oklahoma. He's now he's back coaching at Oklahoma. He did his student, a graduate assistant coaching, stuff like that after an injury. He's an OU guy. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that Brent Venables Art Briles is his father-in-law, right? Now, there was that thought about, and I'm not going to get into this a ton, but I just thought it was silly that you had Joe Castiglione, the AD, come out and say that was something that they had agreed upon when he was hired. I don't think that there's any way in hell that he does that if that's the case.
Yeah, big facts.
You know what I mean? So it just doesn't seem right to me, right? In any event, they threw him under the bus, and it seemed like it was kind of fake outrage on the part of all of them. And if Coach Venables had a problem with it, I venture to say that he would have said that in his press conference earlier, and he probably would have been more along the lines, maybe you just don't hire him. If that is really such a worry for everybody at OU, and let's not, again, I said this the other night on our show, let's not act like this is that Oklahoma is a beacon for women's rights, because it's just, we know it is, and I'm not saying, and listen, I'm not even going to sit here and tell you that I think that what went on at Baylor was okay, because it wasn't.
Definitely not.
It absolutely was not okay. And I think that what happened with, I don't know how much Coach Briles had it as far as involvement in it. I know that it seems from what you read and go through now, looking back on it, it was something that was going on for decades. But if you knew about it and you weren't making sure that was taken care of, then you don't deserve to be a coach anymore. And I think that he also kind of put Lebby in a bad position.
Yeah.
That being said, I would much rather, this is a situation. It kind of gave people that were already kind of pissed off at Jeff for the way that he called the game.
That's what I think it is right there.
More reason to toss him, to say, hey, get him out of here. And it puts him in a bad position.
If you guys score 50 points against SMU, I guarantee it's not as big a story. Again, I'm like you. I don't agree with the Art Brow stuff, and I would say some of that could be put on Art Brows. I'm a granddad myself, so I wouldn't put my daughter or my son-in-law in that situation if I knew my history. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be like, you know what? I'll just wait till after the game and meet you in the locker room or something. But if you've hit it on it, though. If you guys look better on offense and score more points and, like, it's 41-10, I don't know if this is the story.
I agree. In fact, I just think it wouldn't be, right? And, hey, welcome to the show, Stat Guy. We had to bring you in for a couple of reasons, Stat, but I had to make sure you got here. We wanted you to obviously get a chance to talk a little bit about UGA versus South Carolina today. Give us your reasoning why they may win or not. But obviously, we had a little flap, about a month ago or so. So I want to bust your chops a little bit about that too, man.
Hey,
I appreciate you showing up. You're good to do that.
Yeah, we got the 2 games of the week this week. We got Georgia, South Carolina, and then we got Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't even know if there's any other games people are talking about this week. Those are the only 2 I care about.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Well, hey, just to kind of finish off what we were talking about with this deal, I think unfortunately for Tulsa, is that you got a bunch of pissed off Sooners now because they're getting kind of raked over the coals and kind of told how good they're not on the offensive side. I think the defense, the other thing I would say about how the game went against SMU was that touchdown that was given up late in the game, that it came with 40 penalty yards on that drive, and one of the penalties was for sure bull crap. But there, it gives you some stuff to look at. But this is a defense that we've talked about. It has to get a lot better. They've averaged a little over 5 points a game for the first 2 games of the year. Now, obviously, you need to continue to do that throughout the season in FCS programs or not FCS, but FBS programs that are non-Power 5 and in the AAC aren't exactly the way that you want to see them. That's not where you should be peaking at. Now, and yeah, it is at Norman North is what Hank's making sure to let us know. So
I like that, Norman North. I like that, Hank.
Norman North, yep. So, obviously they've got, Tulsa, I think they're struggling a bit. You saw what happened to them against Washington. I expect that they're going to come out with a more aggressive game plan, particularly on offense. That's what Levy even said in his press availability on Monday. Aside from apologizing for being a distraction, he was talking about that they were continued to be very vanilla in the second week. And, you did see once that touchdown was scored, they immediately went out there and rattled off 14 points. A year ago, that could have turned into a loss. And almost definitely would have. That was the kind of game they were losing. If it got close, they were in trouble, So that's one of the things that I would take a positive of from as an OU fan. So, Stat, how you feeling about your prediction earlier this year about Tulsa being able to hold serve there at home?
Hey man, look, I stand on my convictions until proven otherwise. I know I could be on the show tonight and get absolutely beat to hell, and that's 100% okay. But I'm standing with it that I think Tulsa will have the offense to keep the game close. And I think if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, y'all could be in some trouble.
That's fair. I'll give you that. Okay, at least you're sticking with it. I'm good with that. I think we lost Coach I for a minute. Maybe he just had to jump out for a second. Yeah, OU fans that live in Tulsa are always excited for them to be in town. I think it's a good deal for and something with the way that Okie Light's been acting about keeping the Bedlam series going and stuff like that. Listen, throw a few more bones Tulsa's way. Throw a few more bones Tulsa's way.
So how does this work? A lot of times you pay teams to come to you, obviously, smaller pundits to give money. Is this more of just you give them the economy by? I mean, obviously, y'all are going to travel super well there. Is that kind of the payback?
This is actually I mean, this is the second on a 2-game series. I think that they played. What was it? Maybe somebody in the comments tell me when was the last time. It was like 3 or 4 years ago that they played them, maybe something like that. And so they, this is the second time. So they've owed them for this. You obviously had the Arkansas State game because that was the replacement for Georgia. When the commissioner decided to cancel that game out, that became the Georgia deal. Hey, JC, man, dang, thank you, sir.
Whoa, shout out to JC, man. It ain't my channel. That's dope.
That's very awesome, man. We celebrate. SMU is a Power 5 school, just like Danny Stutzman and BV said. We celebrate the success, but Monday we flip and focus on Tulsa. Our strength is defense, which was the goal with BV. But keep an eye on Okie Light versus South Alabama. Okie Light is on upset warning. Yeah, definitely. You know what? We can go right into that, JC. Thank you very much. You just helped us out with we can move into that a little bit. Oklahoma State. They've been playing 3 quarterbacks, equal amount for the first 2 weeks. They have had less than stellar finishes. I mean, they've won both the games, but you're talking about Central Arkansas, who, by the way, Coach, I didn't have Scottie Pippen in the lineup. So it's kind of wonder how they stayed within 2 touchdowns there. And then they go to Arizona State. And this is a team that's well depleted with a brand new coach and, new system and everything that they're working on. Freshman quarterback, even though he's a 5-star. And it's about the same score for both games. I feel like South Alabama is one of those HBCU FCS teams that they're going to bring all kinds of game. They lost by 1 point at the Rose Bowl last year to UCLA. I feel like upset alert. Yeah, it's only 7.5, and that's with the home thing baked in.
Bruh, playing 3 quarterbacks, I don't care who they are, that's a recipe for a disaster. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Oklahoma State going to lose, but it's probably going to be closer than they want it to be. I can tell you that. They just don't look together this year. I don't know what's going on.
It's a lot of, it's just, I've said this a bunch, and, everybody likes to, of course, my audience mostly likes it, but the Oklahoma State fans, they hate it that we say all this all the time. But the truth is, guys, they earn it. They've earned the whole thing. That this is something that we have seen over and over from Mike Gundy. He is a mediocre at best coach. He gets mediocrity out of them. When they every 3 or 4 years, when they put a team together that should win it, they gag anyways. They're going to gag anyways. So it's one of those things where it's oh shoot, we got Jay coming in also. It's one of those things where you just kind of feel like this is one of those games that I could definitely see them losing. I'm going to bring in Jay to have him see what he says about this. But Stat, what do you think about that as well? I mean, South Alabama, you know a lot about these guys in that those FCS programs as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're definitely on the upper end, and they always play somebody. It's like one of those teams where it's like, man, they're going to catch somebody every year, it seems like. And the thing with Okie-lites, you like to call them, bro, I'm still confused of how they lost Spencer Sanders to go play backup at Ole Miss. Like, that's the part that I can't wrap my brain around. Like, how did you lose your 2-3 year starter to go be third string at Ole Miss? Like, I'll be honest, right now, the way the quarterback situation is there, if Mike Gundy had any availability left, he'd probably be back there taking snaps himself.
That's a good comment, Stat, because really, how do you you play 4 years for a man? Like, what did something go wrong? Did he feel like his weapons wasn't going to be there? I mean, that's kind of peculiar, to be honest with you.
But even if they were changing out weapons, like, that's a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who the weapons are. The system is the system. And it's like, man, that was just mind-blowing that all that played out.
Well, and the thing about it is they bring in Alan Bowman, and Jay, tell me what you think about this. But I think that in the first 2 weeks, what I've seen is that Gunnar Gundy looks like the guy to pretty much everybody, and yet he won't start him. That's another signal to me. This is your son, and you're not starting him. It tells me that he's either worried about him getting killed, or he's worried about him looking bad because they suck.
It feels like Oklahoma State is trying to just confuse everybody. I guess they're trying to be the smartest man in the room. I don't know where you actually get smartest person in the room from this by playing 3 quarterbacks and just confusing not only the opponents but even your own players. But I guess the thing we got to take in consideration is that Gundy is sleeping with one of the quarterback's moms. So since that is the thing that's going on, we have to ask the question: is mom actually manipulating what's going on? I mean, of course, that's a joke, but at the same time, it does feel like it, because why are you playing 3 quarterbacks? And honestly, that game right there, I listened to Josh Pate talk about it, about South Alabama and how good their coaching staff is. There's a good chance we got an upset on alert, baby. You can't be a 7-point favorite, 7-point dog at home. That's a low spread for an South Alabama, Oklahoma State game.
3 points baked in.
Yeah, exactly. It's 3 points baked in, and you're only 7 point. That's the sign that Vegas feels like they're trying to trap people into jumping on it. Oh, Oklahoma State's only a 7-point favorite. Oh yeah, they'll blow out South Alabama. So everybody's gonna jump on that bet. And what happens? Vegas cleans up because everybody took the spread, and South Alabama goes out there and either keeps the game close or wins it outright. Because there's really not much value in that 7-point spread on the money line. So why would you take that when you can just take the spread, throw a whole bunch of money on it, cover them as dogs, and boom, it's a win.
It's a guarantee. I made the bet. I've got one. I've got an online bet on it right now.
Smart.
It's a no-brainer for me. It's a no-brainer. Even if they lose, so be it. But, to me, this goes to show you just what we've been talking about a lot, is that they continue to try to just cream puff their schedule out. And to me, this is part of the reason why their recruiting remains in the 40s and 50s at best. And part of it is that, kind of like Dabo Swinney, They're not big on recruiting out there. They hate the transfer portal, a lot of that kind of stuff. Then now they use the transfer portal a lot because they had to, because they lost so many to the transfer portal this year. But they still ended up being on the negative end. So it is what it is. Mediocre Mike is mediocre Mike. Gonna jump back just a little bit into this OU stuff for this week. We talked a little bit about coming into it, what our expectations were. I couldn't have you on without having you kind of talk about that, Jay. After the, kind of mid-level offensive output for Oklahoma, what are your expectations going into this game tonight at Tulsa?
Yeah, this beautiful 2:30 kickoff game against the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. I'm a Tulsa native, and so I still have a love for my Canes when I can. But at the same time, this is a 28.5 point spread that's climbing. I mean, the game started off at like 24, and I think we're stopping at. Let me make sure. I'm a verified ESPN Sportbook right now. We are sitting at. Give me just a second. I want to make sure that I'm not wrong. We're at 28, so it's kind of fluctuating, but it jumped from 24 to 28.5, 29 at one point, now it's 28. So in this game, I anticipate that Levy's going to go ahead and open up the book a little bit more, let these kids play freely, get Jalil Farouk out in space, let him make some magic happen defensively, because I know that what Tulsa's going to do, when I talk to some Tulsa folks, the biggest thing is their secondary is kind of suspect right now. And so with the receivers that we have, and we've seen from Andrew Anthony and what we know Jalil Farouk can do, they're probably going to go out there and try to push them unless Tulsa decides to drop like 8 back and only rush 3. That's the smart strategy defensively for Tulsa is force OU to run the ball, because as good as Tyree Walker was, we haven't been super effective on the run game. Now, granted, we've also run like 5 different running backs, and it's more of we're just filling out things and getting offensive line going. Right. Who's going to be the one that's going to take that step and hit that hole and go? So right now, I anticipate that, you'll see a lot of running. The clock's going to be running heavily. But at the same time, there should be at least 2 or 3 big plays that defines this game. OU should go up 21-0 in the first half, just like they did Arkansas State. I anticipate OU winning this game. And Kim had a nice score of 54-10. I think OU scores about 48-50 in this game. But I think they hold Tulsa to under 5 points. Actually, I'm hoping for a shutout, but I anticipate under 5 points.
That's where I was at on it. I'm gonna say again, I feel like they're probably at around 52-0 tonight. I don't see Tulsa putting up anything. They're on their 3rd string quarterback at this point. And
we don't even know. And we don't even know who's going to be the one playing, because Roman Fuller is the one that finished the Washington game, and he's a redshirt junior. Their freshman quarterback Braxton's out with the foot. With the ankle injury, which we think he's out, because Kevin Wilson comes from the school of, all these other coaches where they don't ever tell nobody injury updates. And then Cardell White hurt his throwing hand against Washington within a couple of possessions into the game. So if that's the case, we don't know who's going to be throwing the rock for him. But in that case, if it's Fuller, we're probably going to eat that boy alive.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be how it is. Yeah, Stat, you're going to have a lot of crow to eat tonight. Helpings and helpings of it, bro. Helpings and helpings of it, bro.
That's look, man. Look, they got the Stat guy luck on their side. They ain't getting shut out. I can promise you that for sure. I'm still sticking with it, man. Until that game's played and they get beat, I'm talking my trash. And come tonight, I gotta eat it out.
Find you a hill and die on it.
You already know.
Which the one thing I'll give you props though, Stat guy, you will lean in on it and then you will eat the crow and the elephant afterwards. So that's something I will say I appreciate. Even though sometimes you're outlandish as hell, I appreciate that you will definitely eat that crow and say, you know what? I was wrong. Not too many people will do that, man. That's a test of a man right there.
Because hey, then the few times I am right, I'm the only one celebrating. It makes it hella nice.
I feel you. You sound like me when I was talking about telling everybody Miami was going to beat Texas A&M. People was calling me crazy. I know Miami wasn't right.
Or when Texas went into Oklahoma and made, not Oklahoma, but Alabama and took them down. I told you I wasn't going to have to buy no shirt, Jay.
I mean, you're right.
You're still going to want to, though. You still might want to.
You're right. I get you.
All right. So here's the deal. Yeah. Obviously, listen, we can talk a little bit about that. And this is going to kind of lead us into something else that I'm getting kind of sick of some things that are being said out there, narratives that are running around college football. It's so silly. But let's talk a little bit about that game last week, and let's talk about what do you expect out of both Alabama and Texas this week. Coach, I'm gonna start with you on that. Obviously, you've got Bama starting another quarterback, even though it's USF. Is it really as bad as you think it is? Or is it look like last week? I mean, they were in the game even with the mistakes they made. They only lost by 10.
Listen, man, I thought it was bad back in the spring. I personally have never been a big Jalen Milroe fan. I don't think Nick Saban is either. I thought he was a good depth chart filler, just in case somebody gets hurt. You know, he can finish the game or something like that. I just don't. I mean, he's a hell of an athlete. He's kind of like, I know Tennessee fans not gonna like it. It's like Joe Milton. I was like, feel like, you know, you can throw it a mile, but you can't. Like, it's like, what's the movie with Denzel? Remember the Titans. You can throw it a mile, you can't pitch it 2 yards. I mean, it's the same thing. But not only that, man, Texas absolutely physically dominated Alabama. Like, in the trenches, O-line, D-line, and that's what now, I thought Texas would win, but like I felt like they definitely were the more physical team. It looked like how Alabama used to dominate people in the trenches. So, I mean, Alabama beat South Florida. I mean, they got to go to South Florida, which is weird to me. I don't know why Saban agreed to that, but I don't think Tyler Butler is going to look much better, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
He certainly didn't at Notre Dame last year. If you hear Coach tell it, and you should be here at some point, he says he couldn't throw to feed the starving birds.
Listen, man, if you watch that Notre Dame offense
in the whole South Bend area.
If you watch that Notre Dame offense last year, it was terrible. It's the reason why they had to run the ball so much. Absolutely. So now you got him. And what's the deal with Ty Simpson? He came out a 5-star rank right behind Quinn Ewers. I mean, it was like, so, you know, during that recruiting year, it was like he was number one, Quinn Ewers was number one. It was like back and forth. I'm like, but this dude hadn't even touched the field. So they got issues.
Kind of weird to me that they wouldn't bring him in, right? And that is the reason that I do have questions about who they are. Now, I'll go to you, Stat. What are your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a comment. Somebody said it's going to look like NCAA dynasty mode against an FCS team this week, and I agree with that. Even if they just have to run, I think they're going to throw their weight around this week. But man, you look at that schedule, and it's like if they can't figure this offense out, then there's some games on that schedule that are normally guaranteed wins that are now maybe coin flips, and you could be talking about Alabama looking at like 8-4 or something. I mean, that's, man, like I said on somebody else's show earlier this week, I'm like, it might be time for Saban to hang it up before it gets so bad that we see him pull a Spurrier from South Carolina and just dip out midway through the year because he's tired of how things are playing out. Like, you don't want to see one of the GOATs go out like that. Like, bro, hang it up at the end of the year because this thing's passed you by.
Okay. Jay?
I mean, I know everybody likes to say the sky's falling when anytime Saban loses one game, but I'm nowhere near that. You won't hear me say that he's done. They have the elite talent, 90% blue chip rate, the highest in college football right now. All they got to do is get it together. Now, I've heard some Alabama former players say they feel like there's a lot of entitlement there in the locker room. I get it. When you win a lot, that happens. That happens with some players. They start feeling themselves, and you know that happens down the line. It's usually something that builds up over time, and they're at that point. I mean, the dude has 6 rings over the 14 years he's been at this school, or less. Actually, my bad. He's been almost 20 years now, it feels like. And so the players are still trying to get things going. Saban just needs to rein things in. The difference is, and I think Josh Pate said it the best, the problem isn't elite talent. They're missing the coaches. They're missing the additional coaches on the staff, especially coordinator spots, right? He doesn't have those elite ones like he's used to. And, you know, Coach you're going to feel this soon at Georgia. The more Kirby wins, the more them coaches will get poached. And that's what happens to great teams. I mean, Saban was going through 2 offensive coordinator every 2 years. Those guys are always getting poached because they think that you can yank Nick Saban out by pulling those assistants. They're going to think they can yank Kirby Smart out by taking those assistants. And that's not how it works. The man is still there. He's still got to get those new guys acclimated to his style and what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Once they figure that out, we're going to shut up about Alabama and any problems they have. Now, granted, the Tommy Rees piece, remember, he's running Nick Saban's offense and he's putting wrinkles in. The big issue you run into with Milroe is, and this is what I said about Milroe from the beginning, this was my fear. I don't feel like this system is conducive to his growth. There's a little bit too much complexities and his style. It makes me think of Jalen Hurts with Dayball. Remember, Dayball was the offensive coordinator with Hurts when he won the freshman offensive player of the year or whatnot at the SEC, right? Dayball goes to the NFL, and then he gets Josh Allen looking like, Superman 2 years after he looked awful. Hurts leaves, goes to Lincoln Riley, and looks like the stud we thought he was when he came in at Alabama. Sometimes some players are responsive to other coaches better than they are the ones that they're with now. So I don't know if this system is good for Reese. But like you said, Coach, I want to see Simpson. Give me Ty Simpson out there. I understand Buckner understands Reese better. Give me Simpson. Let him go out there and be a gamer. I think they'll be fine. Give them I say by Ole Miss, when they face Pete Golding, they'll have it figured out.
I want to say one more to touch on what Jay was saying, man. I don't think the sky's falling either, but Nick Saban is not one for yanking a quarterback, game 3. So that's that doesn't look real good. And I'm definitely on what you said about the coaches. I told y'all I'm not a Tommy Rees fan. It was one of the reasons why I didn't believe in this offense behind Jalen Milroe. The defensive coordinator isn't the best as well. They have talent, but they don't have that guy. Like nobody, you're not game planning for Will Anderson. You're not game planning for Mika Fitzpatrick. You're not game planning for any of those guys on that defensive side. And if they don't get the quarterback situation figured out, I think we could see more of the same. I'm not saying 8-4 like Stat Guy, but I think 3 losses might be on the table if they can't figure out this quarterback situation. And going into next year, they got Julian saying some of the recruit rankings have him number 1, and I think he's a good quarterback. But let's just say he goes in there and he doesn't perform like we think because of Tommy Rees, maybe. I don't know. That's not a good look for Bama. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll say. But I don't think the sky's fall. I think Nick's still the best coach in college football. But he's got to get some help from those coordinators like you talked about.
I agree. I think one thing to add to that real quick, too, is that
go for it.
You said it right. There's nobody on the defense to scheme for. And as great as Caleb Downs is, and as much as Saban has talked about him in the Mika Fitzpatrick realm of things, he's a freshman. And I do not like freshmen playing positions like that where you have to not only be instinctful, but you do a lot more. I guess you could say, it's for the lack of better terms, because when me and Ty talked about it from around the table, he mentioned he didn't understand why Caleb Downs was pushing up on certain plays when it didn't make sense to do that. And I was like, yeah, he's a freshman. That is the problem you run into him. They make some decisions. You're just like, why would you do that? Oh, you don't have the experience to know not to do that. That's what it is. And even if you yell at him to not do it, he probably can't hear you. And eventually he learns to get back. So yeah, that is me. You're right. You're right, Coach. That is the biggest thing, is they don't have anybody on the defense you need to scheme for. They're talented. Just no one stands out like Will Anderson or the Mikas of the world.
Yep.
Welcome everybody to the show. The Coach, Philip Roybal. Welcome in, Coach.
What's up, brothers?
What's going on, man?
Happy game day morning.
Game day stuff. It's a big day, man.
Big day.
Time to see Alabama screw the pooch again.
Hey, listen, your favorite quarterback in the world is going to be starting for him today.
Absolutely. My question is, what's the over and under on interceptions today?
You better jump right on that, huh? We better get a bet in. Better get a bet in. I'd go over on that. Well, although they are playing
Sisters of the Poor.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a
under 5 or 10?
I say 0. That's the perfect opportunity not to.
I say you're smoking crack.
I don't think he's going to.
Cocaine's hell of a drug.
He said he can't.
I think this is the best game to change a quarterback. If you're gonna change, it's the South Florida game. Don't change him when you got to play somebody real. Like let's put Tommy Rees and Tyler Buckner back together. Not that that's a good combination as we've seen in the past. But if you're gonna do it, Do it against South Florida.
Today's the day.
Yes,
that
and that's my
100%,
and that was my thought too, Coach. Was when when I saw that the change was happening, I was like, okay, I was scratching my head. Me and Jason was texting back and forth on that, but then I really thought about it. I was like, you know what? This is the perfect opportunity to see if Buckner's worth the trouble, if he's worth actually playing. USF is terrible this year. Most of their best players are in Colorado, and they're cooking in Colorado right now. And so when you lose all of that, you bring him into this game. Let's see if he can run the offense, because he's running Saban's offense, and if Reese can make it easier for him. If he does, you may have a little bit of a controversy. It would make sense to go forward with him. And I'll say this. This is probably the most talent that he's had to coach here at Alabama. Reese.
I will say that.
This is the most talent he's ever had. So unless he doesn't fumble the bag, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take the over and under on that one too. Guys, I lived with his ass for a few years.
Fair.
Y'all watch from the outside in. I've been watching from the inside out. And I'm just gonna tell you, Tommy Reese is a poor play caller. And
Fair.
Tyler Buckner is a great runner. He cannot throw the ball at all. I'm not going to say it all. He can throw the ball, but he's not very damn accurate unless he's hitting the other colored jersey.
Real quick, folks, we've got more than 27. We've had as many as 60 people in here since we started, and we got 12 likes. You folks are forgetting to wipe your feet. Come on now, wipe your feet, hit that like button, do something with us, help us out here, get us out there on that algorithm. All right.
Hey, it's muddy out there. Wipe your feet, man.
Muddy, man. Muddy. Yeah. We had the powers out at the studio all night, man. So it was kind of rough to put this thing together. Show us a little appreciation for getting this thing together.
That's right. Hit the thumbs up, baby.
A little love, baby. A little love.
It's free. Hey, as man, you can see, I'm wearing our official SUC wear. Got that along with the Hall of Fame Mafia hat gear. Right above Coach I and the coach, you can see right there our pod merch store. Make sure you jump on there, check out all the great stuff that we have on sale up there. If you are a tailgate person, love to grill or smoke, make sure you go right above Coach and a stat guide there, $100 off everything from the black label line. Amazing grills from Louisiana Grills. All right. And then don't forget, you obviously have our Fanatics partnership. Get up to 65% off all your official merchandise just by using our link, hofmedia.us/fanatics. All right. Let's move on to all right. So I was bringing up all this stuff about Alabama to kind of go into this. There's some stuff that I'm getting kind of sick of hearing. Okay. Not kind of. I'm really sick of hearing it. It's been trash and stupid for a while. And I want to pop these things up here real quick. I'm going to present them one at a time. Share screen. Let's go to Windows. All right. Starting off with the Alabama deal. Stuff I'm sick of hearing. Last week's loss to Texas signaled the end of the legendary Crimson Tide coach, Nick Saban at Alabama. Come on. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. This knee-jerk reaction stuff is ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. I would tell you that I have a little pause about what's going on with this quarterback situation, like you were talking about, Coach High. I'm gonna give you that. There's some pause when it comes to that. What I'll tell you is that this is a top 2 and probably the number 1 talent roster in the country. Somehow, something tells me they're going to figure this out and still probably win the West. I mean, we've talked about can you really trust, Brian Kelly at LSU? Can you trust, the quarterback situation and the fact that, or do you believe that Tennessee's going to play defense enough to win and to go on the road and win? Do you trust Texas A&M? No, you can't trust any of these guys. So to me, I have a hard time believing that that's going to come together for these guys. I'm sick of hearing that it's the end of the line for Saban. Okay, just kind of sick of hearing it. Any thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Hey Jason, just a couple of things there. I think it's total BS. Saban's not done. Now, if he wants to be done, he'll be done, but it's going to be on his timetable, not anybody else's.
Yeah.
But you know, like y'all talked about, he still has talent. They gotta fix a few things. But I'm gonna throw just a little monkey wrench into this whole thing. So you talked about all those SEC teams now that have some issues. So
yeah,
wouldn't it be incredible to see a Final Four without an SEC team?
Sorry to bust your bubble there, Coach.
but I'm just saying, wouldn't that be something, guys? Because I know Georgia has a straight path to it because they don't play anybody all season long except Tennessee.
They got a game.
Hey.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with
like
you.
I said, stat guy, they have a cakewalk until they hit Tennessee.
I don't even
We're gonna
believe.
bust them in the mouth.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Tennessee ain't even. Y'all, I'm telling y'all got Tennessee way too high.
I agree with you.
It's not the same team, but I'm with y'all, man. Like, I don't think it's the end of the road. I think Nick Saban's in the Coach K mode. He's gonna tell us or tell them when his last years are. You know, I think if he doesn't win championships, I think he'll get tired of that. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're 11-1, 10-2, whatever it is. Nick Saban's a winner, man. He doesn't want to continue to coach and not win championships. And I said on my live yesterday, Nick Saban hasn't won since 2020. I know in regular terms, that's not a long time. In Alabama terms, that is a long time.
That's forever.
Yeah.
Exactly. That, like, the Alabama faithful will get restless, but again, Nick Saban will write his own ticket, and I could see him going 11-1, 10-2, not winning a championship. You know, whether it be somebody outside of the SEC or whoever.
Sure.
I mean, you got so many teams that are coming into their own across college football. You had the 12-team playoff, and if he's not hoisting those trophies, I think, you know, as a winner, you just kind of you're like, you know what, it's been about 5 years, man. You know, I don't know.
And you guys know this is as a coach, you also, you know, times are changing, guys.
sure.
Listen,
I mean, times are changing and things are not, you know, they're not the way they were before. Nick Saban had an advantage, a huge advantage, because they've been paying these guys for a long time. Let's be honest. And so that was a huge advantage. Now that playing field has been leveled, and although they still have a lot of talent, you know, but again, look at their quarterback issues. And so again, it may be time as a coach, you got to look in the mirror and say, you know what, is it time for old coach to hang it up and move on? And I think that's where, like you said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That if he doesn't win one this year, is it time to take a step back and look? You know,
he's a winner.
I think it's definitely
winner.
Though, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, you were talking about, you know, what Josh Pate said the other day. You know, he rattled off all the guys that were on that exact same staff, and you had Kirby,
crazy.
And you had Kirby, Mel Tucker, Billy, you know,
Lane Kiffin.
You know, these guys were all on the same freaking staff, bro. And not to mention Dan Lanning. These are all head coaches.
Yeah. Glenn Schumann.
You know, Mel Tucker's on his way out of there. At
Jeremy Pruitt.
Yes. And then they would replace him with guys, you know, or elevate guys that were behind him, and it just was like a rolling machine. It's, you know, and like Jay said earlier, Kirby's kind of going through the same thing. You know, you lose Dan Lanning, but you had Glenn Schumann, who, you know, started out with him, and then if we should lose Glenn Schumann, we got Will Muschamp. If Will Muschamp say, "Hey man, it's been a fun ride, guys. It's time for me to roll out." It's like, now who you going with? You know, it's like it's the price of winning, man. That's why you got to enjoy it while you're there. That's why a lot of these runs go for about 10 years or so. Yeah. And then they kind of start. It's the same thing Dabo's going through at Clemson right now. The coordinators aren't the same. I mean, you have great analysts off the field, but not a lot of good in-game coaching. You lose a Brent Venables, you lose Jeff Scott. Tony Elliott, you know, you can't just say, well, this dude is an analyst, let's bring him on. Like, nah, like, he's not the same guy. So it's like it's phases of this thing, man. So hey, man, as a dog fan, I'm gonna enjoy this 2020 to 2030, and after 2030, listen, man, I could just talk about the good old days.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing.
And Coach, that's what I talk about. I talk about the good old days because, you know, we had a long run there, and then here we are just struggling. I mean, just trying to, we're competitive, but we hadn't been in that big talk.
Exactly.
And you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head.
Same with Oklahoma, really. It's kind of been the same way.
Yeah.
So,
I think that inevitably.
What about South Carolina? How about South Carolina?
The good old days was 2010 to 2014. They were really good in the SEC. They went to an SEC championship.
Yeah.
They beat Clemson 5 straight times. They beat Georgia 4 out of 5 times. So
three straight 11-win seasons.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just have to take it for what it is, dog, and say, it was good win.
We were a Marquise North one-handed grab up the sideline away from playing for the SEC championship in 2012. And honestly, if the playoffs were back then, we probably go to the playoffs 2 out of the 3 years.
There you go, stat guy. You're being too quiet over there, man.
Hey, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for one game to come up.
Nervous.
I'm waiting for one game preview to come up, and it's on like Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah, really? Okay. All right. Well, well, here we go then. Let's do that. Let's move on to that. Okay, I'll get into that part now. In the end, I think that what Steele said here was really good. It's always been cyclical in the college football. You see, where you've had these periods of time where, SC was doing their thing for, really for 3 years, almost 4 years. And then it goes into LSU, and then Alabama's really the only one that really has sustained it for very long. Right,
championships,
championship wise, where they've gone and just really dominated. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way that the SEC has marketed itself and the way that they've been able to kind of get some, and obviously having the coaches that you have in that league with the recruiting and the money that came in with ESPN. I think there's a lot of schools, though, no matter what, there's never going to be a time that any of these, especially the blue blood type schools like, your Notre Dames and your Oklahomas and your Texases and Georgia, or any of these schools that are really going to always trying to be, I would tell you that Florida looks really bad right now. I don't expect that that's going to stay that way forever.
Yeah, Florida,
right? Because
they got athletes
are just too high, right? So they're going to make moves like that. Clemson looks like that they've fallen out of it now. I would venture to say that if it doesn't get itself turned around quick, there'll be another coach there to figure it out, right? That's just my feelings on it. But in the end, I'm not sure that I'm ready to put old Nick out to pasture just yet, because that talent roster is that good. All they really have to do is get it right at quarterback, or get something going right at quarterback, and it's probably going to flip around, and they could be playing to get into the playoff again. I love how a lot of people are talking about if there were no SECs in there, who would be your 4? I think that's a good question for Tuesday. We'll talk about that on Tuesday after this week. Let's get into you guys this game. We're going to have David Neal coming in here shortly to talk a little bit about CU. I know everybody wants to talk about Colorado State. A lot of craziness going on in that. I think it's wild that coach would open his mouth, but I love it. Bring it on. So
everybody's opening their damn mouth when it comes to Colorado about Coach Prime and Shadur, and come on, guys, shut the hell up.
It's all about 15 minutes of fame, dog. They like, hey, nobody's talking about Colorado State. Let me jump in here and say we're gonna lose anyway, so let me jump in here,
brother,
and say something crazy to get the school on the news or something like that. So.
You're right, Coach I. It's ridiculous.
Right. Well, in the end, let's talk about Georgia. Let's talk about, the number 1 team in the country has not been getting a lot of talk at all about it.
I like it.
The only thing that people are saying about the Georgia Bulldogs these days is how crappy their schedule is. I know that's probably pisses everybody at Georgia off there a little bit, Coach.
Actually not. After 2 natties and you got the ones that you actually earned. Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you like this: as an alum and a fan, give me the easiest schedule possible, because at the end, in 10, 15 years, nobody talks about your schedule. All they talk about is how many championships you got. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So, it's whatever. Like, we played. Listen, in the playoffs, and we've gone from 2017 to now. We've gone into the playoffs and played high caliber teams. We played them in the season. We took on Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They came to Sanford. They played us. We played Clemson at the beginning of 2021. We blasted Oregon. I mean, it's not like we don't go line up the talent, and we only didn't play Oklahoma this year because of the Greg Sankey. So no,
you know
give
what?
me give me the easiest schedule possible. I do too. Like just as a fan,
for
like,
everybody,
you look for the games to say, oh, this is the game that I want to sit down. I want to either go to, or I want to sit down and really take the time out to, prepare for this one. And we don't really have that. I mean, again, I think Ole Miss is better when Quinshon Judkins is healthy, but he's on and off with health right now. So, hey, no, man, if we hoist the trophy, hey, man, say what you want about the schedule. At the end of the day, the trophy will sit in our trophy room. So, it don't really matter to me.
And then, Jason, in his defense for that, the teams that are leading the charge that Georgia doesn't play anybody are the teams on Georgia's schedule.
Like the biggest people were Tennessee and Florida. I'm like, you're part of that schedule you're talking about, right? Like, we can't make you be good, So exactly. Like,
I love Florida fans. Aren't they something?
You're either part of the problem or part of the solution, and they're part of the problem.
Get better. That's all I say. When we talk about the SEC, get better, man. Again, we play, Ole Miss and Auburn. Listen, man, I don't know, like, get better. So, it'd be good if Auburn was better and let's say Florida was better, then people would be like, oh, they play Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, that kind of thing. But it is what it is, man. Hey, give me a path to the playoffs, baby.
Well, and let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. Those schedules are made up years ahead of schedule.
Sure.
Hell.
And then we're going to play.
Ask Oklahoma State, right? Ask Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
they're made up for the next 20 years. But
and not for nothing, like you look at, like you said, it's made years out. This Oklahoma game was like 5. Yeah, Oklahoma game was like 5 years in the making, and when that fell off of both of our schedules, I mean, our schedule is easier than you guys, but that's like me and Jason talked about earlier this season. That's one of the reasons why Oklahoma actually, kind of has a path to go 10-2, 11-1, because the only real game I think is Texas, and they don't play Georgia this year, just like Georgia doesn't play Oklahoma. So it's one of those things, man. I don't know. So,
but you just don't know who's going to be good when those schedules are being made. I mean, we got a little bit of an inkling because you have those teams that are continually good. But, like this year, hell, Alabama's struggling a little bit. Clemson's struggling a little bit. You would have thought they were going to be really great. But you don't know when you make those schedules. So we can talk about, you guys having a weak schedule at Georgia this year. But that wasn't prior to. Nobody knew who was going to be good and who wasn't.
Yeah, I was about to say Kirby. Actually, a couple of years ago, Kirby went like 10 years out scheduling OOC opponents. Whether at Oklahoma home and home, Texas home and home, UCLA home and home. We tried to get Ohio State, but they don't. I don't know. They talk a lot of stuff, but their AD. I don't know if he want to really agree to that. Clemson home and home. We got Clemson to start the year out next year. That's I want to say that's in the Georgia Dome or whatever, but. Like all the way out to 2031, this thing is FSU is on the schedule. 1 year in the future, before the whole conference alignment change, it was going to be, we were going to play Clemson, Texas, and FSU. You know what I'm saying? It was like, Kirby was like, bring them on. But we don't even know when we get there if Clemson, Texas, and FSU are going to be good. So,
right.
Real quick, we can go right back to this conversation. Gov. Nobody dictates our content here, and especially Okie like crybabies, bro. Not happening. So you can either get better or don't watch. Sorry.
Get better. That's what I said. Get better.
Get better. Get better or get out.
Get better.
Either get better or don't watch. Don't watch. That's all I got to tell you. Stat, what do you think about what are your boys' chances today of making it around out of the first half without it,
what are the realistic chances, or what are the chances I'm putting on it? Because I give it 100%. Because we ain't going down there to keep the game close. We ain't going down there to not get embarrassed. We going down there to knock off the number 1 team in the country, and that's what's going to happen. That's the mindset. We're ready. 2019 all over again. Look, I'll be honest. I think there's a better chance that we beat them by more than 2 touchdowns than they beat us by 2 touchdowns. Just keeping it a buck.
You got any cash you want to lay down on that, my brother?
Oh, see, I left my wallet and I got the 2 debit cards.
Oh, I take.
The way his account works, you got a checking account and a savings account, and
Hey man.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll take cash later.
Yeah.
Payment
I'll say
later.
this. I'll say this. If y'all some betting people, take South Carolina in the points because I think we'll only beat them by 25.
I agree with that. I agree with that stance. I feel like that spread was just too high. It felt like it was like an overall trap.
I think at halftime you're looking like with these new clock rules, man. If y'all haven't noticed,
It's
man,
a
there's been
tougher.
a lot of games in the first half where it hasn't been as big a differential, you know what I'm saying, in that first half. So I think you could see like a 21-10, 17-10 in Georgia's favor first half. And then Georgia pulls away in the second half, and then they score a late touchdown. But that 26.5, actually, I looked at it. It's 27.5 on 27 on ESPN Sportsbook. That's a lot of points, man. And I'm not saying that we can't go out there and beat them 41-10, but I just think it's going that for the clock rules and things of that nature. I think you're looking at a closer first half with UGA putting the wheels on them in the second half.
And
you know what, Coach? No, go ahead, Stag.
I was going to say there is a stat out there that's a good one to know. Is South Carolina is 6-3 against teams that Mike Bobo has been the offensive coordinator of, and he's never beat us by more than 10. So how all of a sudden that turns into 26.5 or 27, I just don't see it.
3 of those games is Connor Shaw. He's not walking through the door. Stop it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, and I just, you know.
So the last time y'all was in Athens, let me ask you this, since you got all the stats. Last time y'all was in Athens was 2021, actually. I know people like to say 2019. It feels like 2019 all over again. Actually, it feels like 2021 all over again. And what happened when y'all came to Athens? Light up the scoreboard. So, I mean, we could always pick out the stats that fit our narrative. But in truth, man, this series is not a series. People always like to say South Carolina plays Georgia tough. Last year it was like 48-7. 2021, it was like 48-10. 2019, yes, they came to beat us. 2017, we beat them by 2 touchdowns. 2015,
I got him some stats.
Hey, listen, 2015, we hung 50 on them and made Spurrier say, you know what? This really ain't the thing that I'm supposed to do. In 2013, we beat you. So I'm like, listen, man, if we keep going back, the series is like 68-10. Come on now, let's keep it a buck. We can pull out all the stats we want, but at the end of the day,
my favorite number today, Coach I, 69.
Listen,
get him, Coach I.
At some point, we got to talk about the Jimmies and Joes. You couldn't block North Carolina. They sacked Spencer Rattler 9 times, bro. 9 times from North Carolina, who hasn't played defense since Reagan was president. What are we doing? You don't have a second wide receiver. Juice Wells is not 100%. We're not counting on Nicholas Harbor. I talked to
Coach, let him up, Coach.
I talked to a former South Carolina player yesterday, and he said, y'all make a mistake having Nicholas Harbor on the offense. You should have him on defense. That shows Shane Beamer's inexperience. He can come in there and play Beamer ball and all that stuff. You know why coaches do trick plays? They do trick plays because they don't have a freaking team and they don't know what they're doing. So, yeah, could you win? I could go out there and win the lottery tomorrow, but am I? Probably not. So, yeah, 42-17. Take that to the bank.
But to answer some of those things you brought up there, first of all, with the Nicholas Harbor thing, wherever he ended up, he wanted to go play wide receiver or tight end. He was never
But listen. Recruits don't dictate where they play. Good coaches, like the reason why he didn't come to Athens is because Kirby said, no, dog, you don't play wide receiver. You're going to play DN. But you guys need that kind of thing in Columbia. You don't get those guys. So you say, yeah, dog, come down here and play wide receiver. That's actually not good for the recruit. If he stays at wide receiver, he doesn't get drafted. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I will let you know, Juice was a full go in practice this week, and he is 100%. And we do have our 2 wide receivers. I don't know if that helps or not, but we do. The big thing for us is, can we do any type of look? Y'all have one of the best run stop defenses in the country. Y'all have had it for the last 5-6 years. Can we do anything? Our run game is pitiful. Like, I might be a better running back than what we've put out there. So can we get any type of run game going to be able to at least keep you off of Spencer? I think if we give Spencer any kind of time, that he's going to make the passes needed to move the ball. But can we protect for him?
Bro, you're a better running back.
Listen, and he's true. He's right about that. We talked about that in the offseason. I told him, listen, again, when you go to Tyler Buckner in week 3, that shows you got problems in your quarterback room. When you put Dak Joyner at running back, that shows that you have problems in your running back room. And I said that, yeah, Dak is, weighted up, and I think Dak is a playmaker in space. The problem is when you come from the backfield, it's hard to get in space. So, I just know what I'm saying, man. It's just like at the end of the day, and again, I think Spencer Rattler is a pretty decent quarterback. But again, you haven't played a secondary either. Like, he hasn't thrown a lot of incompletions, but he hasn't played a secondary. We talked about Caleb Downs earlier being a young guy and not being able to make those plays. Unfortunately for South Carolina, Malachi Starks came in his freshman year and played like a 3-year starter, and he's still there. And we got other guys. Javon Bullard's not playing today, but we got a guy behind the guy. You see what I'm saying? So when you put all that together, again, it could happen, but logically, there's no way nobody. I mean, take the 27 points. I've been saying that. I told Stat Guy the same thing, but logically, there's no reason why you should think South Carolina's going to beat Georgia.
Hey, only one way to find out. Kick that football off at 3:30 and see what the hell happens.
You're right. And if y'all need proof of that, go watch the South Carolina-Georgia preview me and Stat Guy there and see who he picked.
Okay. Let him up, coach. Let him up. Shit. Hey, wow, Jay. Whoa, cooking them, bro. I tell you what, Stat, you got to come with more stats.
Hey, bro,
Stat, where your stats at, man?
He wouldn't let me up. Nah, man. Look, this. Hey, you know why I didn't come with stats. I'm gonna say this just to poke the bear. Hey, man, you don't need stats for a rivalry game. Just go out there and fight.
Wait. How the hell is it a rivalry game when it's 81-10?
Listen,
well,
no. From South Carolina's standpoint, and Steve Spurrier said this when he was coaching, we're their second biggest rival behind Clemson. But from Georgia's standpoint, it's just an important conference game. You know what I'm saying? We're not rivals with South Carolina, but listen, me and Stat Guy been friends for a while, and what happens is when it's the guy at the water cooler, you talk a lot of trash. You know what I'm saying? Because you see everybody every day. But from Georgia's standpoint, it's a conference game that we need to win. And it's like that. I know South Carolina fans they'll like to tell you it's a rivalry, but not really.
I do need that one, Mars. I do need that one. Man, I got to work on some of my sounds here, man. You're right. There's got to be a cooked one. Yeah, he's tagged out. John Russell says WWF tag stack guy out. Ding ding. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on. Poor Stat. I gotta let you up, man. I gotta let you up, bro. All right. Here we go. And I appreciate you guys coming on and bringing that hammer down like that and having some fun. This is what we love to do here. We talk trash anyways. It's lots of good stuff.
Hey, man, that's right. Man, Stat do this y'all get to see it on camera today. We do this every day.
I know you do. This is the same way it's same as all of us guys. We do the same stuff, man. This is kind of what it is, right? Let me take Coach out of here.
Hey, one thing, it's raining in Athens currently, so that might help South Carolina keep it closer.
Yeah, maybe so.
I still need the excuses. I don't need y'all turning into Tennessee fans and being like, "Oh, it was raining."
Okay, so we lost Jay. Thanks for coming in, Jay. We appreciate you. Yeah, you could have just said, hold on, I gotta go. But appreciate you coming in, talking to us about a little bit of ball there. We're gonna have David Neal from David Talks Buffs and Ball coming on here in just a few minutes.
So that's dope.
Let's talk a little bit about what we've been seeing here the last few weeks, and this will be one of those things that another one of the things that I'm sick and tired of seeing. Appreciate you, Jay. And we also have Nathan Bomber Brown from the Big 12 Mafia in. We're going to talk a little bit about him as well. We're going to talk a little bit about BYU, Arkansas as well. I think that's another one of those big games. I do want to get to, before we do that, I did want to go ahead and get to what you guys feel about that game down in Florida today at the Swamp. Can Tennessee go in there and win? They haven't done it in like 20 years, right? So are they going to go in there and lose again, Coach?
Yep, they are. I think Florida's not great, but I don't think Tennessee is as good as they were last year. Yeah. They haven't won, like you said, they haven't won in the Swamp since 2003, and they've only won in the Swamp 5 times ever. I feel like their offense just isn't as explosive as they needed to be. And if they need to run the whole game just to beat Florida's run defense isn't great, but if it's going to be like one of these low scoring, that's what Florida wants. Florida wants a low scoring game because they can't go toe to toe. Let's say Tennessee's offense is rolling and they score 40 something points. Florida can't score 40 something points. So, from what I see, I watched the Austin Peay game twice. Bro, Austin Peay was slowing that offense down. I mean, that last
run team, they're not with Joe Milton. They're not getting it done. In the air. In fact, it's changed Heupel's complete offense.
Well, that offense is predicated on being good in the run. The reason why Georgia was able to handle Georgia and South Carolina was able to handle Tennessee last year is because they was able to slow the run and then stop and then get a good pass rush of 4 and drop 7 and cover those receivers. So and now they don't have the same receivers. I know Tennessee fans want to make you believe it, but there is no Jalen Hyatt walking out of that locker room. There's no Cedric Tillman. Squirrel Wright is pretty good. Yeah. Brew McCoy, pretty good. It's like they don't have that guy, so they have to lean on the run even more. And I think that just leans to Florida. And not for nothing, Florida's bad, but it's hard to win in the swamp. So I got Florida winning. I told Stat, we got a little side bet on it. I told him not only am I taking the 7.5, I got Florida to win outright today.
Wow.
Look at those shades.
Not the shades.
Hey,
shades and the cap.
I just want to start off by giving a big shout out to all you terrible moms out there.
That's dope.
The way you enter a show, by the way.
Real talk. That's dope.
Welcome in David Neal. Obviously, let's welcome in again Nathan Bomber Brown from the Big 12 Mafia. Let's talk some ball, guys. Welcome into the show, fellas. We appreciate it. Let everybody know how to find you real quick since you got here, and then we'll get into this next topic.
Perfect. Well, you can find me, David Talks Buffs, everywhere: Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Spotify now. So we're growing. World domination. Hop on the David Talks Buffs bandwagon.
There we go. Hey, ride that train. Let's go.
Big facts.
Nathan Brown, welcome to the show, Bomber.
You bet. First of all, this is too early. All right. I was just getting out of bed. I didn't know there was homework. What's going on? Anyway, I got to mow the lawn. I mean, come on, guys. All right.
Not really.
Big 12 Mafia show on YouTube, and check us out on Twitter at B12 Mafia and at the Holy Rivals.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit. Let's get into since you're a little sleepy headed there. Let's make you think a little, Bomber.
Okay.
Let's talk about BYU. They've kind of looked a little out of the gate. This is going to be a big test, obviously, and particularly going on the road today to Fayetteville, Arkansas, to take on KJ Jefferson, the Arkansas Razorbacks. What are your thoughts about that going into this game? What are your chances, you feel like?
I think if they can keep him in front of him and doesn't let him get out on the edges like he did last year and torched him for ridiculous yards, I think BYU can win this game. It's not by any means a blowout. It could be a one-possession game, but I don't think Arkansas is as good as they've been. And, would they end up 6-7 last year? So they have their own struggles. Well, the first 2 games have not been lights out. So, Slovis has 5 touchdowns in one game last week. He looked good. It all comes down to their receivers. If they can get separation, which has been kind of difficult, or if LJ Martin, their freshman running back, go off, I think BYU controls the clock a little bit and they can win this game.
Yeah, listen, I'm one of those guys that believes in BYU quite a bit. I'm not sure that I think that they can go on the road and get this win, but I do like this team. And I felt like, even after that first week showing, that would be my question to you, is that what do you feel about this with the way the Big 12 is kind of performing, aside from, K-State, Oklahoma, Texas? It hadn't been a great showing. I guess you see it kind of showed up against nobody so far. Hadn't been a great showing, though, for the
Cincinnati hasn't been bad.
Yeah, Cincinnati's played well. I mean, UCF has played well.
UCF leads the nation in yards per game or something like that.
Kansas is certainly not out of it, right? Kansas is still just trying to get their stride. Though last year they came out the gate, Big 12 played extremely well. This year, they're a little bit slower to come out. But I don't think think at the end of the year you're still going to have 4 or 5 schools in the top 25, and it'll hold its own with the other conferences. So will BYU win this conference unless they get a miracle and everybody plays out of their minds for 13 weeks? No, they're not going to do that. But I mean, an 8 or 9 wins is not out of the realm of possibility if they can win 2 or 3 games on the road.
Yeah, the spread today is like 12.5. I got BYU covering the spread.
It's up to 12.5. Yesterday was 8.
Oh, my bad. Like whatever. I thought it was 10 or something like that, and then it moved. But maybe I'm wrong. But
no. You may be right.
Listen, I'm taking BYU to cover the spread. I don't know. Maybe they win. Arkansas Rocket Sanders still isn't 100%. I don't even know if he's suiting up.
He's not going to play.
He's out today.
Like I think BYU has a shot. I don't know if they win, but I think they definitely cover the spread for sure.
Yep, I think that's what most people are saying is you don't win outright, but you're in the game to the end.
Too many points.
I agree with you. I think it is too many points too. BYU's defense is the most improved part of this team. So last year, what separated the game last year, 63-35, was there were 3 turnovers, and those turnovers led to 17 points directly, and they couldn't stop the run. So the defense has improved in the run, and they I think they're the second least turnover school out there this year and the end of last year. So they don't turn the ball over, and their defense has improved. So
it's been bet down
to Arkansas.
At MGM is bet it down to 7.5. You've got
I'm
it
still
right.
I'm still taking BYU in the points.
Well, that just lets you know that the fact that it's been bet down to 7.5 like that tells you that a lot of people agree with what you're saying, Coach.
Right. Yeah.
And because MGM, that's one of the bigger betting places that there is. It's especially now that they have online.
I think it'll be a great game. I think either way it'll be very entertaining game. Yeah.
All right, Boomer 129. I love all your sayings there, buddy.
So I was just one quick thing, Jason. So we're in CBS Sports, online pick'em. That's where I got the 10.5 from. It opened the week at 10.5. So I was like, oh no. I was like, give me that 10.
3 points of movement's a lot of movement. That means
that's a lot of movement.
Believe in BYU here, especially even on the road. And so to me, if that's with 3 points baked in for the spread
for the home team,
right?
That really means that there's really
like
it's a pick'em game now. It's a pick'em game now. So this would be another one of what Jay was talking about earlier. This might be one of the ones where you want at this spread, you might as well go ahead and go the money line. This is just me talking from a Vegas perspective. I lived in Vegas for 12 years. This is where when you look at that baked in spread, I would probably go money line BYU and live with whatever happens because
like you said,
you can win money that way.
For those that do bet, it's good to get in early so you get the better spread because a lot of times, when it moves down, like right now, you said it's at 7.5, and you try to take that 7.5, and then when let's say they lose by 8, but I got in at 10.5. So
I would agree with the sharps betting it down there because they don't just move it just based on public. Yeah, it's not usually on public money; it's going to be on sharp money. That's where you get big moves like that from Vegas casinos. And MGM is a Vegas casino, so I would tell you that is sharp money there. I would go with the sharps and go money line there.
Plus 245 for the money line.
Yeah, listen, you got to do it right. Yeah, and if you take it, you're just going to make what you bet. So it's definitely you're going to go over another almost $50 just to make that move. If they're gonna, and if I can see it happening, I can see it happening. I think that would be bad for the coach at Arkansas. But I think
so. If BYU doesn't turn the ball over, I don't think it'll be surprising if they win. I mean, the SEC overall hasn't looked good out of conference. So I mean, that's another thing.
One thing I did want to show everybody real quick here. This is something that was on Bomber's show last night. It really, really cool stuff. You guys got to see this. So these tell me the name of this guy before I pop this up there.
Yeah, it's Captain Butters is his Twitter name. His first name's Johnny. And he for the first 2 weeks of the season, he's getting his commercial pilot's license. He wants to fly.
Oh yeah, this was dope.
Yeah, he wants to fly commercial like, you know, United Airlines or something like that. So he has to get tons of hours, and you have to pay for your own fuel, and you have to have hundreds of hours. So to do that, he has his own plane. He goes out and basically just pays for his fuel and spends 3 hours a day before whenever that week's game is, and this is what he gets. So go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, there we go. It's there it is. So this is how he, what the heck? Let me make it bigger. Well, not that big, Jason. All right. Well, as you can see, this is where if you look at this on the may have been better going the other way. Yeah, it was. So he flew this route here.
That was
and tracked it the whole way. This is a great way to go about. I mean, you know, to go beat Arkansas. I mean, he's a good way to get your flying hours. He's got to get 200 hours is what he said in order to be able to
like
get
that.
his pilot's license to be able to go and get this job. What a freaking awesome deal, right? And I tell you, I hope that somebody from Oklahoma would we could hire this dude for the Red River game. I don't know.
Well, I collected money last night on my show to pay for an Big 12 Mafia flight. So I know he takes donations.
He is for sale then, right?
What's that?
Dope, bro.
He is for sale then, right?
Well, he was for me. I don't know. I'm a BYU guy, so you might have to convince him. But if you want to take, I'm sure he wouldn't turn down money.
I was about to say, Price is Right. I'm pretty sure
exactly.
do it.
Listen,
that's dope, though, man.
Of all you fans in the comment section here, make sure that you go find your rich buddy booster out there. Make sure that we can get this Captain Butters, and we're gonna put a link to him. We need to get this guy for the Red River game. It's only a few weeks from now. He should definitely be running that out there, and that'll be awesome, man. Maybe it'll hit ESPN if we do it.
Well,
good stuff. I think it's awesome, man. And listen, you know, what a way to kind of, you know, he's getting his name out there. You know, it can't be a bad deal. I don't know who he's going to work for, but I would guess that somehow this ends up on ESPN, Fox, whatever, coming up pretty soon. I would think, just me. But very cool stuff, man. Very cool stuff indeed. I've been saying it a lot. I feel like BYU has an opportunity to be one of the major players in the Big 12 moving forward. No bigger than Utah. I think that Utah, BYU, and then I still think UCF is probably a few years away, but I do think that they're going to be one of the big time players as well. But the one that I really think, looking at this, and here we're going to go back to what I was saying before about some of the shit I'm tired of hearing. One of the major things is these guys are coming in here, and now you're looking at, for all the folks that said they were going to win 3 games, they're about to do that today. You know, they're about to do that today, and for no other reason than this. You know, let's go ahead and do this real quick. Oh man, what a knucklehead!
They're not about to. They're going to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I think right now is the question ain't none of that. It's do they get to 8? You know what I'm saying? It's like that should be the question now. I mean,
no doubt. I
listen. I admit when I'm wrong. Like, I came in thinking like 4. I thought they would beat Nebraska. I didn't think they would beat TCU. They looked like the better team against TCU. I thought they would beat Colorado State, so I thought they would start out 2-1 and then win one of the Arizona schools. And I think they played Stanford. I thought that was the other one. And it's like, I felt like those 4 were the guarantees. And then their schedule, listen, they're a good team, but their schedule is not easy by any means.
No.
And by the time they play Utah, Cam Rising is probably going to be healthy, you know, that kind of thing. So I just think now it's on the table, like, can they get to 8 type deal?
Well, you know what? Talking about their schedule.
Well, let's listen into this real quick, though, Coach. Okay. Obviously, you had oh man, I grabbed the wrong one.
That's the one I think with his response to the guy. I think Jason dropped off. He's trying to get it together so he can show this. I ain't gonna call him an idiot. I ain't gonna call him an idiot.
Coach I. Yeah. Coach I, like you were talking about their schedule, they're probably about the 5th, 4th or 5th toughest schedule in the country.
Well, that was one of the reasons coming in why my expectations were where it was, not just because of Colorado's team. It's like you have to play your schedule too, and not for nothing. I did say that I felt like the 12 was going to be one of the better conferences because of the quarterback play. And Shedeur is just adding to that. So, I mean, they still got to play USC, which is, I think, going to be, it's going to be a real game. It's hard to win at Oregon. You got it. Washington State's offense is looking good. So they got to go to Washington State. You know, Utah, that conference is just, right now, offensively, you got to put up some points. Luckily for Colorado, they can. So
Absolutely. Well, but, when the season started, I was one of those that had the crazy hat on because I thought they were going to win 6. And so people were looking at me like I was out of my mind, which they're on the money with that. But yet, they're going to be pretty damn good. I mean, like you said, are they going to get to 8?
That's the question. Yeah. What do you think, David?
Oh man, I would love for them to get to 8. As we talked last week, that's the number that I picked them to win a month ago. And I mean, if that hits, man, I do have some bets on 7 wins.
You've been doing good in that department.
You're good, brother. You're in good.
But man, I'm excited. I'm excited to take care of business tonight. And then we really got some of our toughest opponents ahead of us, which I'm super pumped for. And man, I would love to beat Oregon. I would love to beat USC. But yeah, we're gonna have to play
everybody in this
complete
room
games
would love
to do
to
it.
see that too. We would love to see that too. All right, real quick. Let me go ahead and share this real quick. Let's see, where was he at? There he is. There's old Coach Dummy. I gotta call him Coach Dummy real quick.
Yeah, this dude, Coach, I want to be on TV.
Yeah, that guy, right? All right, here he goes.
Just had a lot of public
You want to
critics.
hear that?
Yeah,
I'm not one of them. I really respect all head coaches and the sacrifices that they've had to make to become head coaches, especially African-American coaches. And so I was happy to see Deion get his opportunity. I had to wait a long time to get mine.
All right. All very nice. And then Bulger's getting from media and celebrities
there we go.
and
That's not
ESPN
it.
doing
That's not the
interviews
one
with the
we wanted.
CSU players and asking them about Prime and CU. By last night, Coach Norvell had enough. Here he was
Here we
talking
go.
about Sanders on Norvell's coaches show and the way that Coach Prime dressed for his press conference.
And I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. So, they're not going to like us no matter what we say or do. It doesn't matter, okay? So let's go up there and play.
Well, there you go. The national headlines. Coach Norvell taking a shot at Deion. Just what we all know.
Who gives a shit?
bruh. The fact that you're taking on your in-state rival and you're focused on somebody's hat and shades, like, come on,
Hey,
bro.
man, brother,
That just say I'm conceding the loss because they're better than us. So let me focus on something else. Let's try to take your attention away from the fact that they're a better team than us.
Yeah,
But hey, shout out
they're
to
gonna
them
hand us an
because they
apple.
got they got the players a bunch of free glasses. So
And somebody's probably getting an NIL deal.
Trying to get out here and be the best coach I can be. And I look up and I read some bull junk that Dan said about us. Talk to us. Once again, why would you want to talk about us when we don't talk about nobody? All we do is go out here, work our butts off, and do our job on Saturday. But when they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just gonna be a good game. They done messed around and made it personal. It was gonna be a great test, a battle of Colorado, but they done messed around and made it personal. So I'm minding my own business, watching some film, trying to get ready.
Listen.
How stupid was that? How stupid was that? Why the hell?
There were some players sitting back like, why would you do that, coach?
but what? But guys, who have they played up to this point that hadn't talked shit about them?
Well, I don't think Sonny Dykes talk trash about him.
Sonny wasn't talking shit.
No. Sonny's that's what Sonny's been in the game
Sonny's
for.
a class act.
Yeah,
Sonny's a class act. But again, and I kind of agree with Coach I. They want to place the emphasis outside here so everybody's focused on this crap instead of the game itself. Because they're probably going to take an ass whipping, and they don't want that to be the focus.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, if you're that coach, if this is you and you're Coach Norvell, now that's all you're going to ever be known for, because you're at Colorado State. The best thing you can hope for is to do a very good job, get an opportunity, go somewhere else. Now, unless you come out and like win 3 Mountain Wests in a row, you ain't never going to get another job. The only thing that anybody's ever going to remember is how you ran your mouth to Coach Prime in his first season, and they beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, Jason, who gives a shit? I don't care what the hell you wear or what I couldn't care less. He talks about my mama taught me. Well, you know what? I didn't live with your damn mama. And so at the end of the day, you wear what the hell you want to wear, and I'll wear what the hell I want to wear. And then I'm going to whip your ass even if I wear my birthday suit, I'm going to whip your ass anyway. So
listen, man, there must be a problem in college football with shades, man. You know, I think was it Tennessee stat guy that took a shot at Beamer for doing a social media post, you know, that he was having fun with the shades and stuff. So Kentucky, yeah. So then afterwards, he put on his shades after they beat Kentucky. So it's like, stop giving people ammunition, man. Like, just let them. You show up.
Quit.
Like Kirby Smart say, talk with your helmets, man. Don't let all that stuff go.
Quit being the Brian Kelly kind of guy. Just shut the hell up and go coach them up.
It's crazy,
Dave. Come on, come in here. Let's
put the shades on, Dave.
You got to be loving this shit. As a CU fan, put your shades on and talk to us.
Oh man, yeah.
Because
let me talk to you how my mama raised me, right? Like y'all said, man, I think this is hilarious because it is clear that, you know, there is a whole team, there's a whole movement of saving receipts for anything negative said about this team, said about Coach Prime and all that. So it was very surprising to hear Coach Norvell say this earlier in the week because, again, like, this is an in-state rivalry, yes, but we don't hate CSU. I mean, they're like our little brother, you know, that we beat up on once every few years or so. So it's not like, you know, when he's saying there are guys,
all right,
just going to hate us.
Hold on. This is not what we wanted from you. Talk shit. Let's go. Come on.
Well, I'll say this is that I think, you know, I was worried a little bit about the spread. You know, when are the backups going to come in, all that. But now, I mean, there is a chance for us to put on an amazing ass whooping. And I think it's really cool because since the college football slate's a little weak this week, I mean, everybody's in town. Everybody just wants to see an absolute thrashing of a team this evening. And you know, how often does that happen? We're going to run up the score. Keep in mind, Shedeur already broke the single game record for passing yards against TCU with 510. Sefo Ufau currently holds the record right now for single game touchdowns with 7. So he's got to get 8. I have been of the mind that I want Shedeur Sanders to be immortalized here. So he needs to break every single passing record that we have, you know, for career, for season, for single game. So what I'm hoping for is that we see Shedeur put up 8 touchdowns today. That's just what I'm hoping for.
There we go. That's what we were looking for. Come on,
listen, people showing up like ancient Rome, man, when the gladiators took on the beast or whatever. It's like, do you want me to kill him?
Yeah.
And then all the crowd is like, "Kill him."
But man, it is so hilarious. And like, again, I didn't go out to campus today. I was so exhausted after the Nebraska game, like that whole thing, and like freaking waking up at 6 o'clock to get out there and not finding parking. And I was just, man, I just want to enjoy this on TV this morning. But man, like the fact that I've been seeing tweets that Big Noon is sending people out to the game day the game day crowd to be stealing fans away to bring them over
That's
to
freaking awesome.
to their
Oh, wow.
It was some of that going on last year in the Texas Alabama when they both were there.
It's so funny, and the fact that like I went to graduate school at CU, got my MBA there, and to see this just happening, the business building is right where game day is at. So I've walked that field, countless amounts of times. To see this happening, man, to see everybody just wanting to come here to just see an ass whooping, it's amazing. And this is another thing that I wanted to bring up, Jason, that I've talked about on my show a little bit this week. What is it with these coaches that they just don't seem to learn? It's like they need to touch, the stove themselves to understand that they're going to get burned, that they're, that it's hot. I don't really know what's going through Jay Norvell's mind. I thought that we were just going to play a simple game, let people get in here that haven't gotten a lot of playing time yet in the second half, whatever, that's totally fine. But it's like, I mean, we can give it to you rough if you want it. We can break out the handcuffs. We can make it a little kinky. If you guys want that, we can really bring it tonight. And that's what we're going to do, man. We're going to bust out, all the thrills, man. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And I hope y'all do.
Yeah, because then we got conference play.
Listen, and that's it. Going into this is, I think that anything, if you were, a lot of teams would maybe be worried about kind of looking ahead. You've got Oregon coming up next week, and then the week after that, you've got USC or SUC. Excuse me, SUC. It's always SUC, as you can see, right? Now, because of this, I mean, I really think that Coach Prime ought to be sitting over engraved thank yous for making sure that his team does not lose focus here. Their focus remains on, stomping a mud hole into that football team as they get through with this game. Look, guys, I'm going to pass it around here, starting with Bomber. What are your thoughts about this and all this? I think a lot of folks did not expect a whole lot out of Colorado, but with the way things are going, what are your thoughts about this team now?
I'm a believer, right? Look, after the first game, I came back and hat in hand admitted that I'd underestimated Colorado. So now that I have that behind me, I think I am nothing but in their corner. Will they beat Colorado State? It's a joke, right? It's a joke that they would even try to be on the same field with them. I think Norvell's trying to gin up some sort of rivalry, and that's not gonna work. Making fun of sunglasses and hats and everything, and that's ridiculous. So as far as we are going into the season, unfortunately the Pac-12 is stronger now than maybe they've ever been in the last 20 years. This season is the best season that they're going to have in ever, because it's dead after this season. So I still think they can win 7 or 8 games though.
Definitely. Coach I, if you're taking off now, I want to just say, let's let everybody know how to find you before you take off, man. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, man.
Love you, Coach John.
Fanatic Sports Network on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, IG, all that. Fanatic Sports, man. Hey, always good to be on, man. I like the morning show, Jason. Good idea. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow, David. We're going to preview that Oregon and Colorado game, man. Should be a lot of fun, man. So, hey, shout out to all of y'all. Dope for tell Captain Butters, man, that flight path was dope, man. Very creative, dog. And I love it. Shout out to Coach, man, and Stat Guy. I'll talk to you today, dog.
Love you, brother. You do a great job, man.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for coming in,
Coach.
man. My man. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, and so we'll go to Stat real quick. Let us know what your thoughts are about Coach Prime and CU. You got to be right about something today. Come on.
Well, I mean, hey, I was dead wrong about this because I had them winning 3 or less, and obviously they jumped TCU, got the season rolling. I felt I had them beat Nebraska all along. I'm not high on Nebraska at all, but now you look. I mean, they're gonna absolutely beat Colorado State like they stole something, or that they're just a bad parent, just want to beat the hell out of their kid for no reason. I mean, this thing's gonna get ugly, but the schedule gets tough, and it's like you're looking at 6-6 for sure, but you talk about they can beat one of these 6 teams ranked in the top 15. You're talking about having a great year. You beat 2 of them. Now you're talking about 8 wins. I said all along, if Prime gets him to 6-6, I don't care what anybody else does in the country. He's the coach of the year. Go ahead and print his name on it. It's a wrap. And I mean, with what he's doing out there is amazing. And personally, I like all the day-to-day nuances, trash talking, the vibes. It's just fun, man. Like make college football fun again. Like let's go back to the era of the BCS where you have to beat somebody by 70 to make sure you get into the championship game. That's what tonight's going to look like. It's going to look like Oklahoma back in the early 2000s, making sure they were going to play their way into a championship game by beating the Sisters of the Poor 77 to nothing.
Right. Yep, that's true.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And that's listen, Coach. Go ahead and say what you got to say. I know we have been. First off, before I give it to Coach and I have been on CU all year. Yeah, long before anybody when it was popular to be. We've been saying you're underestimating these guys. Go ahead, Coach.
Oh, mine's going to be short and sweet because I could talk an hour on this topic because of all the shit talking that's gone on about CU and Deion Sanders and what he was – he's cleaning the house. That's not the way you handle business. Screw you guys that were thinking that shit because I'm just telling you right now, he did it. He did it his way, whether you like it or you don't like it. And look what he's coming up with. He is kicking people's asses, taking names, and it ain't stopping today. So keep doing what you're doing, Deion. I don't care if all the coaches don't like it. I don't care if the fans don't like it. And like I like to say, if you don't like it, I'll bend over and you can kiss my ass.
Never short on words. Never short on words, Coach Roy Ball here. That just leaves good on me. I'm going to say, as I was saying a minute ago, bottom line, when Bryce was here, we were doing the same thing. When he was still at Jackson State, we were wondering where he was going to go. And said that, hey, he's going to win no matter what. If you can recruit like this to Jackson State, what can he do at a Power 5 program? And it didn't really even matter who it was, to be honest with you. No matter what, if you can go do that at Jackson State and get the number 1 recruit in the country to go there. And Shedeur, people forget that Shedeur was a high 4-star quarterback. He could have went anywhere in the hell he wanted to, and he went to play for his dad.
Hey, Jason.
He goes and kills it at that level, and everybody still wants to talk. This is one of the reasons one of the things that really I'm sick and tired of freaking hearing. We got a whole list of them today for this show, but let me present this one real quick. Bottom line is I've been sick and tired of hearing this. This is one of the bigger ones. Coach Prime in Colorado won't win more than 3 games. And now they haven't played anybody.
The goalpost is moving.
The goalpost. Stop moving the damn goalpost, people.
Yeah,
stop moving the damn goalpost. This guy has done nothing but prove you wrong at every step of the way. You may. What are we going to get to before you shut up?
Right.
Because to me, you can when they get to their 6 wins or 7 wins or 8 wins, then it's going to be, well, they're not going to win the Pac-12. You may end up being right. They're not going to win the national championship. You may end up being right. But shit, what do you expect? They were 1-11 a year ago. 1-11. Yes, he went in there and cleaned house. He needed to clean house.
Guys, we had a safety starting at quarterback for us 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
well, and Jason, let me just say this, Jason. Those people, and some people are even questioning Shedeur. And come on, guys. Pull your head out of your ass. Do you know
Brady?
Do you know where he came from? Did you ever watch Primetime play? Did you ever realize what kind of athlete Primetime was? Well, guess what? His son came from him, and the chances are he's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. We got to let Stat get out of here real quick. Stat,
Okay.
we appreciate you coming in, my man. It's always great to have you on here. You came in here and you've taken your licks from these OU folks, and I appreciate that out of you.
Hey, I appreciate
Hey,
y'all make sure y'all come to the Saturday night snap count tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, over on the Fanatic Sports Network. I'll be there ready to take my licks if y'all somehow are able to pull the upset and beat Tulsa. Y'all have a great day. Hey, go Cox. Upset the world, baby.
I love it.
Got out of there quick.
I love it.
Yeah, this is awesome. Hey, guys, again, thank you so much. If you're new to the program, hey, I'd love it if you came over to CFB-pod and subscribed, hit the like button. Make sure that you hit the like button, especially over on David's end. We're happy to have all you folks in here in the stream. But get in there and check us out. And look, there's a lot of really good creators been on this show. Make sure that you just saw Stat Guy and then Coach I from Fanatic Sports Network. Make sure that you get over there and check them out. They have some of the best college football coverage in the country, period. They're Georgia fans. And and Stat Guy's a South Carolina guy, but they are SEC guys. They are among the best. They have a show on Tuesdays called Respect the Hedges. It's got a bunch of former Georgia players on it. Solid content day after day. As we talked about before, the Big 12 Mafia Bomber has built that channel in a short amount of time into one of the most respected programs, particularly for realignment on YouTube, period. Nothing but respect for Bomber. So make sure you get over there and check them out as well. But hey, we'd love to have you be a part of this community as well. We got a lot of love for, listen, I'm an OU guy. Coach, as you can see, is a Notre Dame guy. But we love college football. We talk college football and everything college football, and this is the way it has been.
I just wanted to say hi to Coach and David. David, we got to have you on next week, right?
Yes,
even if it's just for a little bit, we got to preview that game.
I keep forgetting to. I know I've been needing to call you back, so
that's okay.
We need to make this happen. So
absolutely,
yes, most definitely.
Okay, all right. I've
Jason,
written it down so we won't forget.
Hey, Jason, I do want to. I want to mention to a comment Hank put up earlier about my Speedo, my Irish Speedo that I have. He talked about my 4-leaf clover. It's actually only a 3-leaf clover.
Oh, geez.
But the extra leaf belongs to me.
I'm not even sure what that means.
Love you, Hank. Love you, Hank.
It sounds wrong.
You don't want to know, brother.
I don't even know what to say here. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let that one go.
All right, very good.
Yeah, and so obviously the other, let's see. They were talking. I cannot forget about Norman. He's usually on the show. He's actually spending time with my mom though today, so he's not with us. So, if you come around, you get to see Norm. He's the mascot for the show. So anyway, yeah. Hey, thanks a lot. We appreciate you guys a lot coming in. Make sure that you hit that like button though. So again, that was number 2 on what we're talking about on stuff I'm sick of hearing in college football. The first one, of course, we were talking about. I'm sick of seeing people writing off Coach Saban over one game and a loss to Texas of all things. So that brings me to the next thing. Now, Texas fans are saying that they're moving the goalposts, not getting their flowers after they beat Alabama this week.
What?
For the love of God, win something for once in your freaking life other than a single game in the season, and then come talk to me about how nobody's giving you your love. Holy shit.
Show us some consecutive wins, guys, and then, you know what? I'll eat my words, but y'all still suck.
Yeah, listen, I mean, look, and I'm not even, we just got done saying that nobody wants to hear about, how they're going to run off and, that all of a sudden, Alabama, you're going to put Coach Saban out to pasture and stuff. But until you guys even win a conference championship, spare me how, I don't want to hear the, I'm back or they're back stuff or, Jesus. Yeah, we're back stuff, It's silly talk. So this is one of the things I'm most sick of hearing as well. that that now, oh, we're moving the goalposts and everybody's hating on us and not giving us our love for beating Alabama. What do you want? What do you want? Automatic trip to the freaking playoff here?
Yeah.
Get through Kansas and all that stuff, and we'll see how you do. If you can get through this with one loss and freaking you win the conference championship, you'll be in the playoff. But until then, why would anybody believe that Texas is going to do that? I don't know why.
I'll give them some flowers, some damn dead flowers.
Yeah, and as always on this show, throw the horns down, please, everybody. All right.
I will say they are a bit lucky that they don't have Texas Tech on the road this year. But yeah, I feel like most of the Texas fans I've talked to and reached out to after this week, they are still traumatized from the losses last year and are very, very nervous going into conference play. So we'll just have to see, man.
Look, they haven't won a conference championship since 2009.
Yeah.
They've played for one since 2009. Wake me up when you do something other than run your mouth and win the offseason, okay? That's it. That's all I got to say.
After winning one game.
Yeah.
After one game. We're 2 weeks in. 2 weeks in, and they want their flowers.
They could have won. They could have beat Alabama last year, and they still would have ended up with the same record in conference. So just winning one game at Alabama has been sort of on a downward trend for a minute. So, yeah, I'm not saying everybody's going to go in there and just be able to beat them up in Austin, but I do think that more teams than not have a chance to beat them than ever before.
Look, have you guys ever lost to them? BYU, have you ever lost to them?
We're 4-1 against Texas.
4-1. Okay, so yeah, there you go. And they haven't beaten Oklahoma in consecutive games since like 2006.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
So that's this is going to be what it is. Yeah.
Hey Jason, how about that power?
Is bullshit. Yeah.
Hey Jason, how about that powerhouse Florida State down 7-0 to Boston College?
Are they really?
Down 7-0 to Boston College. Somebody said something about that the other day. That's funny stuff, by the way. Yeah, Florida State. There's another one that I could say, when you guys beat freaking teams like Boston College, North Carolina State and Wake, not to mention the, 8 in a row to Clemson that you lost, then we'll start talking about you too. But that's not as high up my list as the Texas one. Number one on the list, though, let's just go ahead and put this one out there because just want to give props before you guys beat the crap out of freaking CSU today, Dave. And then I'm thinking that you got a good shot. I think Oregon's going to be a tough place to go play and win, but I wouldn't put it past them to do it. They gave up a lot of points at Tech last week. Tech doesn't have the quarterback that CU has. No. They don't. So I give them a puncher's chance there too. Okay, yes. I do. Here's the other thing but the one that we really want as Oklahoma fans, go beat the crap out of SC. SUC. As you can get this shirt in our don't forget, you can get that in our pod merch store. But here's the last of those ones that I wanted to share. Things that I am sick of seeing or hearing from college football. USC is quietly playing better defense. All right.
Quietly?
Yeah, quietly, my ass.
Quietly? I don't know.
Quietly is a true statement, though, guys.
Yeah, that's
true. Freaking silent. They're silent.
Yeah.
They're quietly playing defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. Quiet.
So
you don't quietly play defense.
They've played Stanford, Nevada, and San Jose, which Nevada put up more points and yardage on SC than they put on Montana. Okay. San Jose State, which was a middling Mountain West team a year ago, put up 28 on them, 21 in the first half. They rushed for over 200 yards. Stanford is trash. They don't believe in NIL or the portal. And so, they lost 56-10. Why did you give up 10 to them? They're quietly freaking get the crap out of here. Until Lincoln Riley has a defense that, look, his defense and the lack thereof is going to be very evident in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Let's look at the rest of their schedule here.
If Lincoln Riley is your head coach, you can automatically guarantee you will not be playing defense on that team.
No.
And what is up with his allegiance to I'm forgetting his name, the D coordinator?
Alex Grinch.
Yes,
Grinch.
Alex Grinch. I don't understand.
He doesn't care about he doesn't care about defense.
Oh, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, if that's not the only thing they're putting money into for the next 5 years, Lincoln Riley's going to get chased out of there in 4 or 5 years because they're not going to win more than 8 or 9
Riley's
games.
gone after this year.
He may leave with Caleb Williams this year.
Lincoln Riley is gone.
That is quite possible. Yep. I'm not saying it's not.
I could definitely see it. But here's the thing. The bottom line is no matter, they've brought some guys in, right? They've brought some guys in and done some of that stuff. But the bottom line is number one, they have a yoga instructor for a strength and conditioning coach, and they have a terrible defensive coordinator that got run off from Ohio State and it was about to get run off from Oklahoma, right? Because they were not improving whatsoever. And look, when you let some of the talent that they've allowed get out of there, like we're Big Dave Uyunglele is a big friend of our show.
Right.
How in the hell does Mateo get out of there? How does he get out of there? He's right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Big difference on that team. It's so freaking hilarious, right? It's just look. Bottom line, I'm just gonna say I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of talking. When you actually go put something out there, then let's talk. But I don't want to hear anything about suck. Yeah. Hey, look, the last half of that schedule. It starts with Colorado next 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And then it goes Notre Dame. Then they got Utah. Then they got UCLA and Oregon and freaking Washington. Yeah, they're lucky that they don't have to deal with Oregon State because Oregon State would beat the shit out of them this year. Yeah. They played them to 6 points without a quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Now they got DJU.
That's why I never thought that they were like people were picking them to win the conference, man. I just couldn't.
They're 8-4 at best, man. Watch and see, folks. All you Colorado folks that are here for Dave, we appreciate you. Make sure that you bookmark that. I said it. 8-4 USC.
Let's go. Yeah. I mean, that Notre Dame game is going to be awesome.
Yeah. And I didn't even bring up Notre Dame. I'm sorry, Coach. Please go ahead with that. By all means, I would never take that from you, by the way.
No, buddy. You're great. No, Notre Dame has another scrimmage today. Before we play a real game next week, and so we'll go into next week 4-0 and playing a good Ohio State team. So until we play an Ohio State, guys, I'm not going to talk about how tough our schedule is because our schedule is early. Our early schedule is weak. Now once we hit next week and hit Ohio State, then it gets continually tougher through the rest of the season. I mean, because there's a lot of games that we could trip up on in there with some decent football teams.
But you get them at home too. You get that SEC team at home, and that's the thing I like about Notre Dame. And we've been saying it. I feel like they are one of those playoff contenders too because of the fact of how physical they play. Yeah. And you got a quarterback.
I agree. They're playing very physical. I'd like to see our O-line step up with just a tad more at the guard position. So I don't think our guards is playing as well as we need to. But guys, we have a bevy of running backs. All those receivers they talked about that they weren't worth a shit. Well, they weren't worth a shit because we would never get them the football. Ask Buckner. He'll tell them today when he's throwing for Alabama and they're picking everything off. But, we're Sam Hartman. You know what Sam Hartman's brought to this football team. He's been playing in college football for 21 years, and we're excited. We're excited to have that expertise. So we're going to be fine today. I say today 52 zip.
Whoa. Okay.
Loving it.
Coach,
All right.
Coach throwing it down. That's all I'm saying.
Love it.
You got some money on the Sam Hartman Heisman.
Actually, I do. Actually,
I
I actually have. If Notre Dame wins the title, I'll make about 15 grand, and if Hartman wins the Heisman, I'm gonna make another 5.
Let's go.
Well, there
I
you
love
go.
that.
I think
There
if
you
they win
go.
the national championship, he probably won the Heisman.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? I'm gonna have a great damn vacation on that one.
Oh yeah.
I would think.
Just so everybody knows, thank you for the score update there, Stephen. GK State, Mizzou are at 7-7 already, right into this, right into the game, just getting it started. K-State going down today. I'm doubting that, man. I don't buy into Mizzou. I don't buy into Mizzou. David talks about us 1-16 against SC. Hey, the one is the only one that matters, bro.
That's right.
It's going to be the only one
you're
that
only
matters
as good
if
as your
that
last
goes
game,
down,
right?
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, I got to get.
Yes,
I got
sir.
some stuff to do this morning, but I appreciate your invite and
Man, I
having me
appreciate you
come
coming
on.
in, Bomber.
Appreciate that. You bet. No problem. That's
We're
fine.
going to be
Bobby,
on.
you're a good man.
You
You're
bet,
a
Dave.
good
We'll see
man.
you later.
Okay.
Are you going
Thank
to
you,
be
Coach.
on Coach I's show tonight? The snap count.
Well, BYU plays late, so
Late game.
there's a
Okay.
good chance
Hey,
that I'll be
Well,
watching football.
jump in with us and give us an update or something towards the end if it starts looking good.
If I think
Go-
about it, it all depends what the score is. We'll have to see.
Go
Okay.
BYU, baby. Let's roll.
Thank you, Coach.
Cool
I
for you guys.
appreciate that. You
We'll
guys
be
have a
rooting
good
for you.
Saturday, and I'm rooting for you guys' teams as well. So we'll see you later. All right.
Okay, man.
Later,
All
buddy.
right. Peace
Thanks,
out.
man.
We'll see you. All
Later,
right.
Bob.
Bye
Make
bye.
sure to get over there and check out Nathan Bomber Brown at the Big 12 Mafia and the Holy Rivals channels right there. So, yeah, awesome stuff. Thanks a lot. Hey, shout out to all the CU fans for popping in here and following in Dave, man. I mean, hey, we appreciate that, guys.
Man.
Almost like my Hall of Fame Mafia, just follow me around everywhere we go. So we appreciate that a lot. And I hope all you guys, please do jump in, hit the like button. If you don't mind jumping over to both sides, both streams, and hitting that like button. If you like what you see, we talk college football about everybody all throughout the country every week. You might want to check us out and give us a shot. Just subscribe. I think you'll like us. We're not one of them haters. We don't hate on CU here, at least not most of us.
No,
most of the audience members are pretty smart about Colorado. So, hey,
Jason,
I'll tell you what.
Real quick, I just want to say for my viewers that are checking in, before I was like a YouTube partner or anything like that, Jason was the first guy to ever reach out to me from YouTube, just encouraging me to keep going, to get on the show, all that. So he's been like one of my day one supporters. So it would really mean a lot. Definitely you support what he's doing. Definitely going to be doing some more stuff with him here in the future.
Absolutely. Weekly, man.
Yeah, so I just appreciate you, man.
Good.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that, man, too. But look, I've been very and I don't even want to use the word surprised. It's been very amazing to see your jump. Just where you started to where you ended up. I mean, you've already passed me up, and I had about 6 months, 8 months on you, I think, as far as starting this channel. So amazing work that you're doing out there with those guys, your dedication to it. I mean, Coach and I have talked about that a lot. You're one of those, we talk about this a lot. Our channel, we bring on the best content creators in the country, period, no matter what.
I agree.
I believe that 100%. We've continued to do that for, months now. And so, I'm glad to be able to get to work with you, man, just like these other guys. And I'm excited about what we're going to do moving forward as well. I feel like we can do a weekly thing and just kind of click together on it. But man, so are you going to be at the game today? Did you say you were going to be at the game, or you're just going to chill today?
I was looking for tickets. I was going to go if I got some for free. That's just kind of how it was. So I had some that possibly could have happened with a friend whose company has season tickets. But they decided to sell the tickets instead of give them away to somebody at the
There's
company.
Probably a lot of damn money in it.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of damn money.
Right now there is. There is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that.
Jason,
yeah.
Thanks, Coach
Hey,
Norvell.
Jason,
right?
thank you. Yeah. Hey, Jason, I was going to tell you, and I know you said, David's got ahead of you and stuff here or ahead of us. And you do have a detrimental setback. And I think if you get rid of that, I think you'll be successful.
I already know where you're ahead of.
You get rid of You get rid of Coach's ass, and you'll start growing.
First of all, everybody in there tell everybody how full of crap that statement was. I think if you got rid of Jason's ass, the channel would probably pop up quicker. But because
I wouldn't be able to turn it on without you, brother.
Yeah, listen, but I'd probably be better as just a producer, to be honest with you. But no, man, listen, our channel has been growing exponentially. I'm not upset about that.
Yeah.
Look, this movement for Coach Prime it's been really cool to watch, to be honest with you. There's, David's not the only one that's grown like this. There's a bunch of guys that have become creators just to cover this CU football team. Yeah. And they've blown up, and shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. And I actually have a lot of followers from the videos that we have done from CU. You know what I mean? I do have a lot of followers from that. But I mean, again, and we're a national show. We want to do it as a national show. But I mean, I have no problem with what's going on here whatsoever. And being, I enjoy watching good content. He puts out good content, period.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely,
that means a lot. And I will say, it's a unique thing, because I feel, and I say this all the time, like, I don't care if, you're a diehard fan of another team, like, there's always room for you to jump on and enjoy this whole CU ride, and that's what's been so much fun with the whole thing. We got my biggest cities that watch my stuff: Atlanta, Dallas, and Houston. Denver isn't even in the top 10. So it's been really cool to see what's happening, just everything. We are America's team, man, because I feel like unless you're a Nebraska fan, I mean, you wanna see this thing, but I mean, they got to put up with seeing us on game day and Big Noon the rest of the year. I feel like
I think it's going to happen at least once or twice more, right? I mean, if they win next week, you could figure that they're going to be there 3 weeks in a row, probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Look. I mean, it's just look at ESPN and Fox. They're fighting over them. They're sending both Big Noon and Game Day were there today.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's rare that happens. It happened last year with Texas Bama, but this is on another level. And when you've had over 10 million watches in the first 2 weeks, it's real stuff, man. So, look, we've been going for a couple of hours now.
Hey, Jason.
And, Coach.
Jason. So Boston College held off a drive from Florida State, so it's now 7-3 Boston College.
Wow.
This is going to be a game, boys.
It's going to be a game. Look, as I said, and here's the deal with Boston College. I don't know how good I don't know that they're going to win this, but this tells me a lot about that number 3 ranking they got sitting next to Florida State's name. I don't buy it. I didn't buy it. It tells me that they're probably, maybe they're looking ahead at next week when they play Clemson. I don't know, but they're not done with Clemson yet. I mean, Clemson, they haven't beaten them in 8 years. They hadn't beaten them in 8 years. So again, they're another one of these programs that you got to show me before you get that done. LSU, Mississippi State, 3-0 Tigers right now. We'll get into some of the. Let me throw up a couple of the scores here. Let me go through a couple of what we got so far. You've got 3-0 there. 7-7 still with Missouri. They have the ball. And it's 4th and 8 at the KSU 12. Looks like they're probably going to be I don't know what they're going to do there yet. So it's 7-7. There's got a 4th and goal going in. Let's see. That's the only other game going on right now. So
Penn State, Coach.
Penn State, Illinois are knotted at 0 still. Still 0.
Yeah, and that's already 9 minutes. 6 minutes into the game.
Yep. And then you've got Missouri did kick the field goal there. It's now 10-7 Tigers there. I would be surprised if they hold on for much longer there. Watching that game right now. Okay, guys, we have been going for a couple of hours now. I want to thank our guests, all of our guests for coming on today. Jay from Unfair Sports. We also had Bomber from Big 12 Mafia. We had Fanatic Sports Network. Make sure you go and check out Coach I and the Stat Guy over there. And then, of course, so happy to have David Neal of David Talks Buffs. Hey, Lots of fun to have all you guys in here. This was our first edition of the Sooner Game Day type of deal we're trying to do. We're going to kind of rein it in, be a little shorter on the next couple of them, but I appreciate everybody popping in here. If you hadn't already hit that like button, please make sure you wipe your feet before you come in my house and hit that like button. It helps with our algorithm all the time. We appreciate that. We have another live stream coming up on Tuesday night. I will also, next week's Sooner Game Day deal or Sooner Kickoff show will be from Cincinnati. I'll be heading out there to go see Oklahoma take on the Bearcats in Cincinnati, see what they can come up with. And hey, I'm excited about all of this. Excited about this season, man. We're going to have a lot of fun watching a lot of football. And I think this is as big a toss-up year as we've seen in a long time.
Agreed.
I think that you got a lot of teams that have a chance to make some noise in college football moving forward. We appreciate our family coming out and watching us. We will, hey, make sure you get out there. It's David Talks Buffs everywhere on social media, including right here on YouTube. We are at CFB-pod for all you folks coming from CU. Checking that out. If you want to come and check us out in the future, we would appreciate that. Guys, thanks again. Thank you, Chicken. Love to my boy Norm, and he'll be out on Tuesday as well with us as well. So thanks again, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Go Irish!
Let's go Buffs.
Well, hell, then let me throw them horns down.